Okay, you're live.
Okay, well, welcome everybody to the February 15th Public Council meeting for the town of Conception Bay South. Welcome everyone. I hope you've all got dug out by now. We had our first, I guess our biggest storm of the year overnight, and crews were out working all night to get things cleared on the roads for our town, and we hope everyone is safe. So we're going to get right to the business of the day, and the first thing up is the adoption of the meeting agenda for February 15th. Someone moved by Councillor Hillier, seconded by Councillor Barrett. And adoption of the meeting minutes of February 1st, 2022.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Connor, seconded by Councillor Hardy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Business arising from previous minutes usually comes up throughout the meeting and in future meetings. So we'll move on to visitors' presentations and petitions. And this evening we have a proclamation. It's Violence Prevention Month 2022. The proclamation reads, whereas the Violence Prevention Initiative of the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador is based on a vision that the people of this province will live in safe, caring communities where this is an inherent respect for each other and violence of any sort is unacceptable. Whereas the solution to eradicating violence against those most at risk in our society, women, children, and youth, Aboriginal women and children, persons with disabilities, older persons, and others who are victims of violence because of ethnicity, sexual orientation, or economic status, is through a collaborative effort between the provincial government and the community to improve services and to educate all residents of our province about violence prevention. Whereas the town of Conception Bay South, with its community partners, have been working to improve services to victims of violence and violence prevention programs for many years, and whereas the town of Conception Bay South promotes self-reliant, healthy, educated individuals and families living in safe, nurturing communities. Whereas the town of Conception Bay South have made a commitment to partner with the community to seek long-term solutions to violence, I am pleased to proclaim the month of February 2022 to be Violence Prevention Month. I encourage all residents of Conception Bay South to recognize that violence prevention is everyone's responsibility and support violence prevention activities in our community. Okay, moving right along, we are up to new business, and tonight I'm going around the table alphabetically, and we're starting with Councillor Barrett.
Your worship, well, following what the mayor said, hopefully everybody is cleared out for the weather. Just a couple of notes this week. In my opinion, I feel like council is still continuing strong in 2022, and one of the big things that we committed to is increasing the safety of our community. And so behind the scenes, one of the big things we have going on this week is meeting with the RNC constable responsible for Conception Bay South, and certainly we'll continue to work with our partners and determine areas of common interest and areas that we can continue to achieve what's best for our residents. And parallel to that, also later in the week, we have a meeting with our 3 MHAs that represent the town of CBS. And so want to continue these open dialogues with important stakeholders and governments within our community. And so we're certainly continue to have dialogue on areas of common interest and all working towards the same goal. So just wanted to give residents a bit of a behind the curtain look at some of the things that we were involved with. So that's it for me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, residents. First off, I'd like to let everybody know that starting this evening, maybe even during this meeting or after, the town will be officially launching its new business attraction video. The video, which features the first-hand experiences of local business owners, shows the vast potential of Conception Bay South as an excellent place to invest. Our growing town is at the center of industry and development, with an industry-ready port, significant commercial large land potential, and a vast workforce. We have a complete offering for businesses with many unique advantages. Our focus is to retain and attract new businesses. We are investing nearly $1 million in the Economic Development and Tourism Department this year to help to achieve these goals. Business opportunities span our community's entire footprint, from the industrial park to downtown and beyond. Conception Bay South is suitable for businesses of any size across multiple sectors. This video is part of our strategy for progressive economic growth. Again, you will be able to view this video on our YouTube channel this evening. And just a little note on our Access Now app. Last summer, Trans-Canada Trail arranged an assessment of the T Railway throughout the Northeast Avalon, of which the data collected will be integrated into the Access Now app. The app is owned by Access Now, which has as its mission to establish the world's go-to resource for accessibility information and allows users to integrate with accessible experiences. The outcome of the assessment indicated that 97% of the trailway in Conception Bay South is accessible, partially accessible. The town will be working with the Grand Concourse Authority over the coming months to closely review some of the suggestions for improving accessibility. And that's all for me this evening, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Fantastic stuff. And Councillor Connors.
Self off mute. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This evening, I want to take this opportunity to pay tribute and recognize a resident who recently passed away, Mr. Norman Thibault, after a courageous battle with cancer at the age of 78. Norm was the definition of a true gentleman. To say he was courteous, polite, and respectful would be an understatement. He was all of that and much more. It would be practically impossible to find someone who did not enjoy being in Norm's company. He had many friends throughout CBS and around the province who will miss his kindness and his big heart. He was like the King of Kensington, for those of us that remember that show. Everybody knew him. He put a smile on everybody's face, and he was there to lend a helping hand to all his friends. Norm spent most of his summers up at Pendler's, camping with his brothers, his sisters, nieces, nephews, and a large circle of camping friends, and including myself. He was the patriarch of Pendler's. We had many great times, many fond memories over the years. He would ride around on his Honda four-wheeler and stop to chat with everybody. All the women loved his wonderful blue eyes and his smile, but his large heart definitely was his trademark. He was also known for attending and watching hockey in CBS, and he's become recently, over the past number of years, a curling fan. He told me he grew up in Stones Cove, and he told me once that he never had curling out in Stones Cove. So he really started to enjoy curling. He was a fixture at the arenas on the Avalon Peninsula, and devoted many years following minor hockey and junior hockey, senior hockey, and hockey teams. And Councillor Tilley used to take him to a lot of those games. He made many friends at the rink. And while he was at the rink, he would walk around once again and talk to everybody. Now, as for curling, Team Gojou, Councillor Butler would be happy to hear that, was definitely his favorite team, and he never missed a game, no matter when it was on. And I'm sure somewhere he's still cheering for the Gojou team to bring the goal back to Newfoundland. So as I mentioned earlier, Norm was definitely the definition of a true gentleman. I'm sure I speak for everyone who knew him. He will be ever missed, but he will never be forgotten. And I think that the world needs a lot more people like Norm Thibault. So it was an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to know him. Rest in peace, my friend.
Thank you, Councillor Connors. Did you have something else? I'm sorry. Yeah. No, and I'm not sure anybody anywhere could have said it any better than that, Councillor. He was certainly a true gentleman, and he had an infectious smile, and you mentioned his blue eyes. You know, absolutely, he was someone who made everyone feel comfortable, and happy to be around him. And it was always a pleasure to see him every time I went somewhere that he was at a number of their seniors events over the years, and always at the rink and so forth. And it's he's going to be truly missed, a bit of an icon in those areas, of course, but a true gentleman, and condolences to Norm's entire family, and a great loss for our community. Thank you again, Councillor Connors, for your kind words. Deputy Mayor Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. Just a couple little things to mention that are in keeping with this month of February. February is Heart Month, and with all the snow that we've had, I know a lot of people have been out working very hard, shoveling and clearing steps and whatever. So it's always to be mindful of your health and when you're shoveling. Heart Month, this is something very close to me, because there's been, in my family, we've been affected by heart disease. And so a lot of people don't necessarily know the signs or symptoms. And I guess we learned over the years, because of experience in our family. So like some of the signs of if you're having a heart attack, for instance, are we all assume, okay, it's a chest pain. And of course that is of a burning, a heaviness, but there's also upper body discomfort, your neck, your jaw. For women, they often don't experience it in their chest. They get the pain through their back. Shortness of breath, nausea, a lightness in the head. So these are all just some signs that something might be going on. So during this all this winter weather and the snow shoveling and whatever, I just want people to be mindful of what they're feeling. And this being Heart Month, there's an ongoing campaign where you can support and make your donation online. And these funds are so important to education and research. And so I just wanted to bring that forward to the community, because it's, like I said, I think it's very important. It's an important month, and awareness and education is so important. It's knowledge is powerful. So thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I believe February 13th was Women's Heart Day, following the theme for the month, of course. And just want to say to everybody, don't ignore any signs or symptoms. Get checked. That's the best thing to do, and it may prove very valuable, save a life or two along the way. Councillor Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. Just a couple of things I wanted to bring forward. We approved the supplemental signage policy back in November, and I actually had a few residents reach out to me this week. So I just want to let residents know that you actually find that policy. It's out on our Town of CBS webpage under the policies. That being said, residents can also call into our engineering and public works department, and we can certainly have one of our clerks send you out that form. I know residents were getting a little bit confused. They thought the signs would just be posted into the communities, but I reiterated that the families would actually have to apply, so that they make sure they meet the threshold of what the policy entails. So just want to put that out there, that the family or the guardian to the child would have to apply it, and that it would come through the engineering and public works department. Second thing I just want to put out there now, posted today, going back to bingo back in CBS for the CBS Minor Softball Field of Dreams. So get your bingo dabbers ready next Thursday, February 24th at the Canadian Legion. Doors open at 6:30 and bingo starts at 7:30 sharp. So get out to the stores now, get your dabbers, and hopefully we'll see everyone next week. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy, for sure. That's great to hear. Councillor Hillier.
Excuse me. Yes, Your Worship, just want to, again to pass along our condolences to the Thibault family. As you know, Norman's son Dave is our Director of Recreation here at the town, and has been for a long time. Councillor Connors talked about Norman growing up in Stones Cove. When the community of Stones Cove closed down in the early 60s, the Thibaults came in here to Conception Bay South to live, large family and certainly had an impact on the fabric of our community over the last 6 years. I just want to pass on my condolences to all of that family on their loss. Also, Your Worship, on a regular basis, we try to promote shopping local and shopping in our community and so on. We're now into our Winterfest schedule, and we have a partnership with some of our local businesses to do exactly that, whereby residents can drop by any of 16 of our businesses, pick up a sticker for their passport, and if they visit 8 over the next week or so, they get an opportunity to win a prize from a batch of things donated from those businesses. So I just want to encourage residents to get involved in that at this point in time, and all the time to shop local, and hopefully next year we'll have double the 16 businesses that are part of this process. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Yes, an important message, and that's great to see that going on for sure. Councillor Moores.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. I also just want to send my condolences to Dave Thibault and his family at this difficult time. And another note, I guess, we had some exciting news in our community over the last couple of days. We have a young athlete who I personally had the privilege of being team manager for her team. A few years ago, we went to nationals. Lauren Rowe, who's been invited to play with the Team Canada under-20 team at their pre-tournament camp. And I don't know for anyone who has seen Lauren play, I've always said from the very first day I saw her play that this girl's going places, and I'm just so excited, and I'm sure her family is very excited. It's a big, big, big deal and a big opportunity for her, and to have this opportunity to go play with Team Canada. So just a big congratulations to Lauren and her family. And with regards to Winterfest, I just want to remind people that this is our second week of Winterfest, and we do have some more exciting activities going on this week. They include the virtual cooking session with Chef Mike. This is going to be going live on the town's YouTube channel on Wednesday, February 16th. The Furry Friday photo contest on Friday, February 18th. The free outdoor family fun day, 10 o'clock on Saturday. We have a free virtual nutrition wellness webinar on Saturday, February 19th. And of course, the business passport that Councillor Hillier just mentioned. We have our Winterfest photo scavenger hunt that's ongoing, and our your favorite 5K and the Riddles by the River. So all that information can be found on our website under Winterfest. So we hope to see a lot more people out this week taking part in all these fun activities. Thank you, Mayor Ben.
Thank you, Councillor Moores. And hey, snow this week for our Winterfest, so that's an added bonus, unexpected. And Councillor Tilley.
Just
yes.
Don't want to interrupt, but Councillor Moores talked about Ms. Rowe and her national team. I believe that's for soccer, correct?
That is soccer, yes, sir.
That is soccer, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I thought I said soccer, but if I didn't, my apologies.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Worship. Nothing new to report from the war perspective, but I just got a couple items from a public works aspect. I'm gonna burst Councillor Moore's bubble when I tell her the future weather forecast for the weekend. Now, I just want to say thanks to all of our public works crews. They've been busy since early yesterday morning. We've had in excess of 40 centimeters of snow, and a lot of people don't realize that you can't get rid of all the snow within 8 hours. So I mean, it's going to take a fair bit of time to clear all the snow out of all the streets. And of course, we have some issues. We had our contractors out as well last night, and where we don't have the responsibility for Route 60. Sometimes, we may plow one street, and 10 minutes later, the plow from Transportation Works might be driving along and fill in the top of the street, and we may not get back to that street again for a couple of hours. So we just ask people to be patient with us, and as well, we take a percentage of our crews off of snow clearing early in the mornings to get those folks ready to tackle the sidewalks in the school zone. So just to be patient. It was a lot of snow, and the unfortunate part about it is that I believe on Friday there's going to be a weather warning for some heavy rains in our area, all day Friday, all day Saturday. So, folks, make sure that all your downspouts and everything are clean from snow, because if not, you're going to have a mess in your yards. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Yes, the weather has been a a bag of tricks this year for sure. First of all, I just want to mention a few things, but first of all, I want to talk about one thing that doesn't surprise me in the least. The town of Conception Bay South is again one of the fastest growing communities in our province. The 2021 census was released, the first census in 5 years. And it shows our community had a population growth of 3.7%. That's nearly 1,000 people have moved or come to Conception Bay South to live. And that means we remain the second largest municipality in Newfoundland and Labrador with a population of about 27,200. It's an amazing population, and we're booming. And there's no doubt that this trend is continuing, because we've already seen applications for building permits in 2021 increased by 40% over pre-pandemic levels. And I don't believe that that was included in the census. I think their numbers stopped before most of that was taken into consideration. So we're already on the move for the next census. And we had approximately 40 new businesses start last year, which further demonstrates that our town is the place that's leading the way in this province. And with our new business attraction video talked about earlier by Councillor Butler, we're on a fantastic trend to continue. And the province's overall population decreased, I think, by just under 2%. But we're very proud here in Conception Bay South that we bucked that trend. We bucked the housing start trend, and we are on our way and continue to grow strong here in Conception Bay South. I'm very proud of that. Councillor Moores mentioned earlier Lauren Rowe, and I have to say something about Lauren. She is actually probably arriving now or maybe earlier today in the Dominican Republic. She was called to the Team Canada under 20 soccer team as a training player. But if anybody comes off the field, she will be one of the first ones on, I'm sure. And, this is a CONCACAF tournament a pre-tournament that she's going to. And this puts her in very good stead to possibly be part of the Team Canada for the World Cup in 2024. It's an amazing accomplishment by this young lady. She is an astounding player. And even if you don't like soccer, if you saw her play, you'd have a grand appreciation for her talents and abilities. And she just returned from the Vancouver Whitecaps training facility out west not that long ago. She'd been invited, I think, 2 or 3 times, maybe last year before COVID's gotten in the way of that. But she's been identified, I would say, from the age of 14 by this national group right on through. I think she's only 17 now, so you can imagine the talent to be called up at that age. So congratulations to Lauren, and I hope you all the best. And I know I want to see you playing on television when I'm cheering on our national women's team in the very near future. And the national women's team, of course, have led the way in Canada, and the men are catching up there now, and we're having an exciting time watching them. I just also want to note that something that we're doing here in the town, it's the first time we've ever done it, and we're going to do it. I'm not sure how many, maybe only one other municipality does it, is we're going to post the donation list from the most recent election in 2021 on our website for everyone to see as part of our openness and our full disclosure policy here that we've taken on with this council. So that'll be available, and I believe over the next couple of days. So certainly probably before the end of the week, maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday, will be, if you click on council on our website, you'll be able to go and see who contributed to whose campaign. And I know that I would like to have had a lot more contributions than I did. It would have helped a great deal, but I appreciate the ones we got. And of course, for any of those that did accept donations, they will be there. And if they didn't, it'll be disclosed. So that's just something else that we're doing here at this council. Of course, this day marks a tragic day in the history of our province. Of course, it was 40 years ago that the Ocean Ranger took the lives of 84 souls here in just off the coast, and it affects here in Conception Bay South as well. So it's a time that we pause and we remember how perilous it can be, and how dangerous the oceans that surround us can be. And we remember those who lost their lives in that. with the idea that we come a long way with safety regulations and so forth, and hopefully we'll continue to advance those to save lives into the future. But it's of course a sad day for many, and it's a day to remember, reflect, and honor those who were lost on that tragic day 40 years ago. Now, I just want to finish off with just something quite positive. Two Conception Bay South residents have been honored by the East Coast Music Awards with nominations for this year's awards. They are Mallory Johnson and Justin Fancy, and we've heard a lot about Justin Fancy in the last year or two. He is up for the Country Recording of the Year and the Solo Recording of the Year and the Fans Choice Entertainer of the Year. So he's made a really big mark in the East Coast music scene. And Mallory Johnson is up for Artist Innovator of the Year and Fans Choice Video of the Year, which she shares with a duo, Twin Kennedy, I think they're called. And it's fantastic music coming out of Conception Bay South. Very talented community, and we hope to see a lot more from our talented residents who are continuing on the path with their music, and a great compliment from to see Justin Fancy and Mallory Johnson honored in this way. So finishing up with that,
Mr. Mayor, I think we have another person who was nominated as well, Quote Raven, our residents of Conception Bay South as well.
Oh, were they nominated as well? Oh, that's fantastic.
They're nominated as well.
Yeah, and they were just, I think, not that long ago down to Manuel's River. So it's great to hear that they have been nominated. There you go. And there may be some others. And if there are, let me know, because I'll absolutely give a shout out, because it's fantastic. We know we got the talent, and now everybody else is starting to see it. We're going to move along to the regular business now. Recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, these are recommendations coming forward from our committee meeting of February 7th. First of all, 5A, 105 Greeleytown Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Council's discretionary authority, as section 4.11 and 10.7 of the town's development regulations, application number 1161 received on December 7th, 2021 for a hobby farm at 105 Greeleytown Road be approved for a maximum of 9 chickens at the property. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Excuse me, Councillor Hillier, I have to declare a conflict on this. I have a brother that lives across the street from 93 Red Bridge Road.
Okay.
Okay. Number 5B, 93 Red Bridge Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 15D of the town's fence regulations, application number 1199 received on January 21st, 2022 for a fence along the side property boundary in the front yard at 93 Red Bridge Road be approved with a maximum height of 1.2 meters. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Butler, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, just that fence is currently 6 feet high, so we're asking the resident to leave it there, but bring it down to 1.2 meters, which is within our regulations.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Your Worship, number 5C, 160 Swansea Street. I'm going to declare a conflict here as I live in the proximity of this residence. So Councillor Connors will bring this one forward.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Councillor Connors.
160 Swansea Street. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 108, 3A and F of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, application number 1218 received on January 16, 2022 to add a 3 meter by 3.6 meter extension to the existing accessory building at 160 Swansea Street be approved. So moved.
Seconder. Deputy Mayor Goss. Any discussion, Councillor Connors?
No, this is an application that we received. There's already an existing building on site. He just wants to add a piece on, so we're recommending for approval.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. We can bring Councillor Hillier back in. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, before move on to the blanket statement, just want to remind residents that we require permits for a whole variety of projects, decks, sheds, garages, fences, houses, and so forth. And to encourage residents to get these permits, we don't charge for them. All they need to do is drop in here or drop into the town hall with their proposals, with their plans, and we'll give them the permit. Unfortunately, people still go ahead with projects without a permit, and that's a concern. It's a concern from our point of view in that we don't have any control over development within the town unless we know that people have permits and what they're doing. And obviously from the other point of view, you know, if someone builds a shed or someone builds a garage, their property value is going to go up, and there will be some tax increase. We don't see that if there are no permits. So those are the town's concerns, but to a greater concern are concerns for the residents. And I say that from the point of view that you get a resident who goes about a project without direction from our staff. By getting a permit, you automatically get access to our staff for recommendations, suggestions, and so on, and how to go about that project. Without a permit, that's not happening. And as a result, we see every year some serious problems with projects throughout town. We see sheds too close to boundaries. We see fences in the wrong place or too high. We see garages in light and power easements or in water and sewer easements. Like, we don't have staff going around every day looking for these issues, but they do come up for one reason or another as the year goes by. And for the most part, we try to work with the residents to bring them in compliance. But in a lot of cases, it's been very, very expensive for the resident in that they may have had to move a shed, cut the end off a shed, or what have you, when if they had simply come and gotten a permit and worked with our staff, these would not have been a concern. And you know, it can be very, very expensive. If you're going to build a big garage and all of a sudden you've got to cut 2 meters off the end of it, it's an expensive project. So I encourage everybody, if you're going to start a project, going to build a project, drop in, contact our staff, and they'll only be too glad to come out and advise you on the best way to go about that project. All right, sir, that's my rant for tonight.
Excuse me, Chair Hillier. For the committee report, I have to declare a conflict as I have family and a business at close proximity to 392 Conception Bay Highway, which is listed in the various items that were discussed.
Okay.
Yeah, Councillor Hillier, a very important rant, if you will. I have to say, because how many times do we see somebody trying to sell a house in a short time frame, and then that's when they find out because the buyer's looking for a letter of compliance and they can't get it because things don't comply with the regulations. And sometimes it's out of our control. Sometimes it's like you mentioned, Newfoundland Power and so forth and others. And that's expensive, and it's a hard turnaround to get done when you've got a closing deadline on you. So, you know, I encourage everyone to get a permit. And like Councillor Hillier said, they don't cost anything right now. We're offering them up for free, but we still need a permit.
Well said. All right, Your Worship, our blanket statement. Be it so resolved that decisions and recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on February 7th, 2022 be accepted as presented, and they're listed below. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Hilliard.
Thank you, Your Worship.
We will bring Councillor Butler back into the fold. Okay, recommendations of Engineering and Public Works Committee, Councillor Tilley, Chair. I'm not necessarily hearing or seeing Councillor Tilley. Am I the only one, or?
I think he's froze.
Okay,
He's out in the shade with only a t-shirt on. No wonder he's froze.
all right. Well, look, it may be best that I think he's gone out, so he might be trying to get back in, but I think we probably should wait for him. There he is.
No, I'm here.
Okay, Councillor Tilley, good. So lead the way with recommendations from Engineering and Public Works, please.
Thank you, Worship. As soon as I went to speak, I said, everyone froze. Just a couple of recommendations from our Engineering Public Works Committee meeting. The first is to do with the approval to tender for road materials, and that's just for supply and delivery of our 4-inch clean rock and supply of asphalt. That's just the stuff that we do our everyday business with in the town. So we're going to call tender for that. So be it so resolved that approval be given to call tenders for the supply and delivery of clean rock and supply of asphalt. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Okay, and the blanket recommendation, before I read that, Your Worship, just want to talk about a few items that we were discussing during our committee meeting. One is we're looking at a pilot project to assess safety needs at the intersection of Dunshill Road and Route 60. So we're hoping to have some positive feedback from our consultants in the next little while. So once we get that, we'll certainly be letting the public know what our plans are for our pilot project for that area. And as well, be remiss, we spoke a fair bit about garbage and recycling at our last committee meeting, and it's interesting to note, and we say this every year, and it's unfortunate we have such a low percentage of our recycling in Conception Bay South. Right now, I believe for 2021, 5% of the waste that we collected in Conception Bay South was for recycling, and I guess I'm at a point where I'm almost ashamed that the number, to even say that number is that low. And and just to put it in perspective to the residents of CBS, a ton of recycling costs us $20, as opposed to a ton of garbage, it costs us $80 a ton. So you don't need to do the math there, right? So I mean, garbage is 4 times more expensive than recycling. So if we could get that number up to 20% or even 30%, we could have a bit extra money, to put in an extra playground somewhere or whatever the case may be, to do something better for the town. So I strongly encourage residents to take advantage of the recycling. Some people may think it's a pain, but there's a lot of things we do that is a pain, but we do them anyway for the betterment of the environment and that kind of stuff. So we have looked at the idea of possibly making it mandatory. We don't know yet, but it's certainly one of the options that this council is discussing, and we may look at that one of these years. So that's it from our Public Works Committee meetings. So be it so resolved that the recommendation decisions made at their Engineering Public Works Committee meeting of February 8, 2022 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Tilley.
Okay.
Recommendations of the Recreation Leisure Services Committee, Councillor Moores.
Thank you, Mayor Vint. I have a blanket recommendation for this meeting, but I just want to mention a couple things. As most people know, we've ramped up all of our things in our recreation facilities with the most recent COVID changes. And from what I've been told, everything is running very smoothly. And I know a lot of our squash players are very happy because we're able to get those games back on the go, and a lot of excited people there. And we're also looking into getting an online booking system for this particular group, as we do with most of our other groups. So we should know more on that in the coming weeks. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, this is the second week of our Winterfest. So we encourage everyone to get involved, and all the information with the dates and whether or not you have to pre-register are all on our website. So if you get a minute, go check out those things. The comedy night, unfortunately, is sold out, but maybe, who knows, we might be able to do another one in the near future. We'll see. So with that being said, be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee on February 9th, 2022 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hillier. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Moores.
Thank you.
Recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee, Deputy Mayor Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. So our first item has come out of our committee meeting is the item 8A, accounts payables checks. And be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $238,187.81 as per the attached report. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hardy. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 8B is the manual check register. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay manual checks totaling $567,662.35. So moved.
Seconder.
Aye.
Councillor Butler. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 8C is the capital invoice approval. So the resolution is, be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $84,660.36 as per the attached report. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hardy. Further discussion?
Your worship, this is just some smaller invoices for ongoing capital works projects. A couple there for community park and a small one there for the monument.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 8D, tax and other receivable adjustments. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivable accounts as follows, COLLM 002 for $408.52. So moved.
Seconder.
Hello.
Councillor Barrett. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Okay, so the department report 8E, and before I do the resolution, it's February month, and I just wanted to mention that it's property tax time, and the deadline is February 28th. And I wouldn't be a good chair of finance if I didn't make mention of that. So the deadline's February 28th, and our town hall is now open to the public 8:30 to 4:30 for anyone who wishes to come in for counter service to pay in person. There is a drop box outside if you're paying by check. There is always internet banking, and e-transfer can also be made. If you are availing of the equal payment plan, that needs to be set up before the end of this month. And also for seniors, if they're availing of the seniors discount, that needs to be set up before the end of this month. So just a couple of reminders. Time is getting, February month is moving along. So on that note, I will present the resolution. Be it so resolved that the decisions and recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee of February 7th, 2022 be accepted as presented. And there's a listing of the things that we discussed. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Connors. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you,
And
Deputy
that's
Mayor.
it for the Financial and Administrative Services Committee, Your Worship.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you.
Recommendations of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee Chair, Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. And our first recommendation is the Green Team Program. Be it so resolved that approval be given for the town to contribute $3,500 for the purpose of hiring 4 youth to comprise a green team for 2022, pending a partnership with Conservation Corps Newfoundland and Labrador. Funds are available in account numbers so noted. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Moores. Further discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. Just a little background there. The Conservation Corps of Newfoundland and Labrador's Green Team Program supports environmental and cultural heritage conservation projects throughout the province. For many years, the Conception Bay South has hosted a Green Team to assist with various community projects throughout the town during the summer months. The committees are thrilled to put forward this recommendation to support our application for a 2022 Green Team program.
I
Thank
just
you,
wanted to
Butler.
say,
Yes.
I think this is a serious bang for the buck here. You know, you're looking at around $400 a week for 4 students to work on our parks and trails and maintenance for the summer. I mean, I think it's a great investment for our town and certainly one we've been fortunate to have over the past few years. So certainly supportive of this tonight.
Absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? We are carried.
Your worship, I am declaring a conflict on the next one because I live near the property.
Okay. We will have
Yep.
Councillor Barrett removed for the next recommendation, please. And there he goes.
And there
So
you go. Just like that, magic.
magic. Yeah.
And 9B, 2570 Topsail Road. Be so resolved that approval be given to enter into a license.
Excuse me, Christine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think I'm
Oh, you froze.
in conflict on that one too, Mayor
Oh,
Bent.
okay.
I have a brother-in-law who lives in the immediate area.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. He's gone now too.
God, that's magic.
Yes.
Start again. Be it so resolved that approval be given to enter into a license to occupy agreement with the property owner of 2570 Topsail Road for the use of the property as an extension of the adjacent park. So moved.
Seconder.
Second.
Councillor Councillor Connors. Any further discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. The town has been exploring entering into a license to occupy with the property owner of 2570 Topsail Road to utilize the property as an extension to Chamberlain's Park. This would include parking, benches, info boards, picnic tables, and potentially a new neighborhood community garden on site. The town solicited representations through a direct mail out, which was sent to 84 residents in the surrounding area. The mail out was also published on social media and in the Shoreline News. The past week, the committee discussed the outcome of the public consultation exercise that took place last month and concurred to proceed with the execution of the license to occupy. In addition, we have asked that the suggestions received through the public consultation process be reviewed by the appropriate departments. So moved again.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Yes, I read through the notes that came forward from residents, and very appreciative that they took the time to make some of those suggestions, because a lot of them are really good and will be considered going forward. But I can't tell you, this is the site of a former service station that's been sitting vacant for years, and it has mailboxes on one end of it. But to be able to get community use out of this area is just fantastic, and to be able to expand with the area around Chamberlain's Park is just a wonderful addition to this area. And of course, we mentioned and we talked about this before, and some wonder what the cost to the town would be. It's just foregoing the taxes on the property annually, around $3,000. And to me, that's nothing to pay for access to this, to improve that area and to take a vacant area that's overgrown a bit and turned into a very useful purpose that will be a great asset to the park and to our community. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Let's bring back Councillors Barrett and Tilley.
Magic? Yes. Okay. You there? Perfect. Okay, it's just our blanket recommendation now. Be it so resolved that the decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of February 8th, 2022 be accepted as presented. And as you'll note, I discussed all three of the items that are there. So everybody is well informed as to what went on at our committee meeting. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Moores. Sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Okay, been a long day. Okay, well, thank you, Councillor Butler. Other committee reports. Does anyone have anything to report from any other committees you're serving on currently? Yes, Councillor Barrett.
Yes, Your Worship. I had a CBS Parks Commission meeting there last week. We meet every 2 months, and so this was our first meeting of 2022. And like many organizations, the start of the new year features AGM and updated governance structures, and so that's largely been the update over the past few weeks. But also, as we discussed this 5 minutes ago, Council has approved to submit an application for the Green Team, and so certainly Parks Commission will be very happy should we be selected to host another team by CCNL again this year to carry forward on a lot of great work. So that would be the update, and we are meeting again mid to late April.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Barrett. Does anyone else have another report from any committee they're serving on tonight?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Thomas.
Yes, we had a meeting of the Northeast Joint Council meetings last Wednesday. Myself and Deputy Mayor Goss attended the meeting by Zoom. Once again, it was a good bit of discussion. We had the RCMP gave an update of activities through the RCMP and for all the Northeast Avalon. The RNC were there. They gave us an update on some of the activities for the RNC. MHA Tony Wakeham was in attendance, and MHA Jody Wall was in attendance. They were there on behalf of the PC party, I guess, to talk about upcoming budget. So they were there, and Tina Neary with the municipalities of Newfoundland and Labrador, the Avalon director, gave a presentation as well. There was a couple of things. Probably the biggest thing that we did talk about was the joint working group on regionalization and how that's going to be moved forward. And all the, I guess, the consultation sessions they only have been that week, so there wasn't a lot of feedback, but there was some discussion on that as well. I think that's going to be a hot topic over the next while for municipalities, Newfoundland, Labrador, and the smaller communities. Right now, I don't know how communities like ourselves, towns like ourselves, will fit into the picture, because we're sort of being told that we're going to be able to carry on as usual. So that was that. I can't think of, I don't have the minutes for the meeting yet, but I think that covers off everything. And we have a meeting once a month, so I'll have another report for you next month.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Connors. Does anybody else have a report? Yep, Councillor Morris.
Hi, thank you, Mayor. There was one SORE committee meeting. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend because it was the same time as the municipal leadership course that some of us are doing. But I have received the minutes, and I am the dates for the next one I will be at. But basically just preliminary stuff about what has happened in the last couple of soirees and getting our heads around what's going to happen this year and the type of schedule we're going to go with, and basically introduction of the committee. Also, I have another downtown CBS meeting this coming week. No, sorry, next week. And I know that we have a strategic planning session for the first week of March. So looking forward to that to get things moving there. And that's all for me for now.
Thank you, Councillor Moores. I love to hear the talk about the Kelligrew soiree after the weather for the last day or so. But does anybody else have anything to finish up with? Any final thoughts from anyone? Yes, Councillor Butler.
I won the virtual trivia by default because neither you nor Councillor Tilley were on the trivia contest. So I won.
And Councillor Butler, I was disappointed by that because I had previous plans related to the Valentine's celebration you might have heard of that they hold around the 14th every year. And about 8:30, I realized that I was having dinner and I was not on the virtual trivia for the town. And I would have pulled out of that and gone on to the trivia, but that would have been at my own peril. So it's a loss I'll have to accept. Councillor Tilley, I'm not sure why he wasn't there.
I must have missed that one because I love a challenge when it comes to trivia. What night was it?
Saturday.
It was Saturday night, which is a hard night to have it. And I did come in second, by the way.
Did you?
I did.
Do you remember who won?
What?
Do you remember who won?
No, it was a different name.
All right. Well, that's fine. And I hope you had fun, though. And I know you were disappointed you didn't see us. I understand that. And I apologize. Just on a final note from me, just to remind everybody to keep an eye out for your fire hydrants in your area and hopefully maybe put a shovel to them or snow blower or whatever, just to make sure that everybody in your communities are safe as possible. And I guess I'd be remiss by not saying that best of luck to Team Gushu off to the Olympics representing us. And I know, Councillor Butler, you're not missing any of that. And you probably shed a few tears this morning when the Russian skip won that game in the extra end. But they're in good stead. They'll be all right. So they'll do us proud in the end. We know they will. So everybody, I guess that's it. Enjoy our snowy weather and do so safely. And we'll be back here for the next public meeting on March the 1st, and we'll see how March comes in. Will it be a lion or a lamb? Let's hope for a lamb, maybe. Anyways, good night, everyone. Thank you, Council, for your time and your efforts for the past 2 weeks, and we'll see you shortly.
So moved.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, I didn't motion an adjournment. Oh, well.
No.
Do I have a
So
quorum
moved.
left? I'll motion for an adjournment if we're not live.
Second.
Yeah, Councillor Barry, seconded by Councillor Connors. We're adjourned.